Okay, here we go. Right, the first thing you're going to need is the plasticine and your baseboard. We're going to make a little base to stand your Shaduf on so it doesn't slide around everywhere. First things first, just take off about so much of your plasticine. Just put it to one side, you don't need it all at the moment. And now we need to squidge out a nice big base area. Remember, plasticine is much easier to squish if it's a little bit warmer, so you might need to hold it between your hands for a while. And it will take a while, just be patient until you end up with a base about so big, size of my palm, but that's no comparison because my hands are bigger than yours. I'm going to lay it down on a piece of paper and that will become your base. Okay, so next let's see if we can build the arm for your Shaduf. There's me thinking, changing as we go along. What you're going to need is the long thin piece of wood and the long piece of string. You're going to need to tie the string around the arm about a third of the way along the piece of wood. So if it was going to be halfway, it would have been there, so just a little bit further on, so it would be split into three and we're just about there. Come on guys, watch this knot. If you're in the Scouts, I'll be calling this a round turn and 2 half hitches. So a round turn is where you've gone round the pole twice, and then there's a couple of granny knots just to make sure it doesn't disappear anywhere. 1 knot. Getting myself caught up here. 2 knots. Now, because this is going to be a nice, neat piece of work, let's get the scissors out. Let's cut off the tail of that piece of string so it's nice and neat. This isn't going anywhere, it's tight enough so it doesn't slide up or down the pole. So just leave that there for a second. Then we're going to grab our 3 upright pieces of wood. You're going to need to lay them out in a triangular formation. 1, 2, 3. This is where having a buddy might be quite helpful to help you put it together. You see where I'm trying to hold the pieces of wood so they're just a little bit staggered at the top. If you look straight down you'll see what I mean. Perfect. Right, I have my buddy, which is going to be great, and it just helped me get going. Now I'm going to use the long piece of string to hold the Shaduf together. I'm going to put it to one side and I'm going to start to just literally lace the uprights together. I'm going in and out of each piece of wood. So I'm missing one, going round, missing one, going round. So I'm going to miss out this one now. I'm going to go round. I'm going to here. I'm going to miss out this one now. I'm going to go to there. I'm going to miss out this one now. And I'm going to here. And what we're doing effectively is tying the 3 pieces of wood together. If you look straight down you'll see there's a bit of a pattern beginning to form. So just showing again, I'm going to go around this pole, I'm missing out the next one, but I'm going around the next one. I'm missing out the next pole and I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to go around that one, miss out the next one, putting it nice and tight as I go. There you go. I think that's just about enough, don't you? And then what we can do is, with a bit of help from a partner, which I'll get from somewhere in a second off camera, is that we can tie... Oh no, look at this, there's hands coming in from all over the place. Is that we can tie how we can tie this off at the top. So it doesn't fall over. Thank you very much, my helpful set of hands. And then, because we're tidy, let's cut the piece of string off. Beginning to look like a Shaduf? Okay, you'll remember the piece of plasticine that we kept to one side. Use that as the counterweight. Let's stick that on the short end of our bit of string, of a pole, and look, immediately it lifts it up just like that. Okay, we need to make the bucket now. The bucket is going to be made out of your piece of tin foil, about so size. To give it strength, fold it in two, so it's double thickness. Now go and find your Pritt stick, take the lid off, and plop that in the middle, and you're just going to lift up the sides of your foil and use the Pritt stick top lid as a form for the shape of your bucket. Make sure you can still see down the middle. Right, this is the bit that's going to take it just a little bit of care. You need to gently take out the lid so you end up with a bucket shape but no lid on the inside. We're not expecting to lose any Pritt stick lids. That goes straight on top of the Pritt stick, doesn't it, everybody? But what we've ended up with is a little pot, of which you can start very gently, start folding the top over, going around very carefully. This is not aggressive building, it's nice and tight. Until we end up with a nice Shaduf bucket. Okay, we're very nearly there, because all we need to do is attach the bucket to the top of the arm. To do that, either use a pencil, I'm going to use the end of a pair of scissors. Just make a very nice neat hole into one side of the bucket. Needs to be big enough because we're going to stick some string through there in a second. Make another hole in the other side of the bucket. And again, this is where all you scouty people, it'll be very useful if you remember your knots. So the string goes through one hole. I'm sure some of you can come up with a more complex way of doing this, but I'm just going to go straight through the middle and out the other side. Well, in theory, you might want to get an adult to help you with this, or somewhere better than me. I'm just making the hole a little bit bigger there to see if I can sneak the string through it. As you can see, things like this sometimes just need a bit of time and patience before we get it right. Here you go, it's through either side. I'm just going to tie a little knot at the top, just a big granny knot. I'm sure you can make up your own one somehow. For those in Scouts and Guides, you'll know that it probably needs to be a bowline, but I'm just going to use a big granny knot. There you go, that's our handle, and then I'm just going to simply tie this to the top of your Shaduf arm. And let's go around and just tidy it up nicely. There's some scissors. You will have water forever.